As it turns out, virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats, say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought. Never have been brought. Everybody. Even people that aren't big fans have said it. They said this is not the right thing to do. It's an insult to our country, as the world is already laughing at us for so many other reasons.
That was former President Donald Trump slamming the felony charges against him, saying the case should have collapsed before going to trial. Kudlow host Larry Kudlow himself is here with us now. Larry, break this down for us. Obviously, it was a poor exercise of prosecutorial discretion. Alvin Bragg has made this a witch hunt for Donald Trump. But he showed up and he took it and he was processed and he is watching the process play out. And
you're talking about President Trump,
yes.
former President Trump, and he's standing.
Yeah.
And he's standing tall and proud. Yeah. I just want to say that. You may not like him. I understand that. Love him, like him. Nonetheless, he's standing tall. He fought back, gave a very good speech last night. You know, almost everybody, I mean, even people on the left who hate Trump were critical of Alvin Bragg's indictment. All right, because the whole thing, I mean, falsifying business records, shenanigans, I mean, I don't even know what that means. They're going to have to prove that. But then the idea is, because you have intent to commit a crime, okay?
A second crime.
A second crime. And I don't know where that second crime is. It's not an election crime. No one has said that. Yeah. Bragg himself wouldn't answer that question at his own news conference yesterday. So I don't get it. And the other thing I just want to say is the venue, really, Manhattan. There's only 11 Republicans left in Manhattan. 6 of them have my dinner group that we eat at Italian restaurants every week. In fact, we're gathering tonight, you know, to have a little pep rally amongst ourselves. I would like to go to Staten Island, where there's a lot of patriots. That's the only Republican left. I'm serious, though. A jury of your peers, really, New York. Okay, well, we can talk about that.
Okay, the one thing that former president didn't get hit with was a gag order, though. That's a big deal for somebody who likes to talk. You've obviously been in his inner circle. He's got some strategy to deal with this. What do you expect to see from the campaign, given that he can get out and speak, and he clearly has views on this?
Well, look, I think you heard a lot of it last night. Not all of it, but a lot of it last night. The politicalization of our legal system threatens democracy. I mean, that's a very important point. And Alvin Bragg is a perfect example of that. And President Trump, former President Trump, got out in front of some of these other things in Georgia and the so-called documents issue. I mean, this stuff is just partisan politics. The other point I want to make is that he mentioned briefly, there was a nice paragraph in there. I won't say who put it in, but it talked about inflation, taxes, regulation, the sinking economy.
I can't figure out who would have put that in there.
And it talked about, the reason I asked Charles is it talked about the threat to the dollar, which is getting hammered once again because of our bad policies. That's what. So you'll see Trump with a prosperity agenda message, but he's also going to fire back on what is happening to our democracy. He laid it out pretty nice last night.
Let's do King Dollar. You know, strong dollar. The nice thing is...
You know who coined that phrase?
Who?
I did.
You?
Many years ago.
See?
And it stuck.
I did stick.
And Paul Gigot of the Wall Street Journal wrote it up, and it stuck back 25 years.
I should have guessed it was you. King dollar. The strong dollar is nice. The signal's technically a healthy economy. When you go abroad, your dollar's worth more. But the weakness of the dollar's nice when you're thinking about exports and sort of the peak hiking cycle behind us. And when the Fed comes off from that, you technically maybe get a weaker dollar. How do you think about all this?
A couple companies might benefit from a weaker dollar. I know that's an old story. The reality is the absolute best thing you could have is a stable, reliable, sound dollar. Stable, okay? And if you ask me, it should be linked to a commodity index, and it should be linked to, let's say, money supply growth, which will tell you whether you're going off course. Steve Forbes coming on the show tonight is going to make another pitch for gold, okay? Gold and other commodities. I like a gold-backed dollar. I like a commodity-backed dollar. But we are responsible. It is our inflationary monetary policies, but also fiscal policies. You're sitting there wanting to jack up taxes. You're already in a Biden war against business with regulatory attacks, not just regulatory attacks on fossil fuels, regulatory attacks on business all the way, tax attacks on business all the way, massive spending programs. In your notes, you talk about Janet Yellen and the IRS. That misnamed Inflation Reduction Act, all right, it's now been re-estimated to be $1.2 trillion, $1.2 trillion of more spending. The dollar's fallen, what, 12-something% in the last 2 or 3 months? It was very strong. It's going down again. It doesn't like what it sees. So, we're the masters of the dollar. I know China and Brazil and all this other stuff. Nobody's going to stack up renminbi. We are the ones who are masters of our dollar fate. 2
years ago, Goldman said that the yuan could fight us for being the king currency, the reserve currency of the world. Not now, but 2050, 30 years from now.
Maybe in 100 years. I don't know. Maybe when China goes back to a market economy and gets rid of communism. People are not going to own a communist currency. By the way, China has capital controls. Very important point. And look, the dollar is still about 60% of the world's reserve currencies. I don't know. We got to figure out. I got to go back, Brian, and look up. Maybe we'll do it together upstairs. Transactions, like the BIS, Bank for International Settlements, has a number. Dollar-related transactions is just enormous. It's much bigger than any other currency. So
we're going up to the office. We're going to do that up in the office with Larry.
But we got to. He's a monetary scientist.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Larry. Always great to see you. Good to have you stop by. And
thanks for having me.